Actually, business in here.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishnayos Tainus, Perik Beis, Chapter 2, Mishnah Zayin, Mishnah 7. Continuing with the discussion about the groups of the Kohanim that were present in Yerushalayim. We had the Mishmar, we had the group of Kohanim that were part of that. We said the Kohanim divided up into 24 groups. Each group would serve for a week. And then for each day, you had a separate group that served for that day. The entire group is called the Mishmar. The daily group is called the Beis Av. So this Mishnah teaches us about, before we discussed about the fasting that they do and the differences between them when it came to fasting. And now the Mishnah continues with a difference between them that is unrelated to the fasting. It's just something, a difference between the people of the whole Mishmar and those for that day's service. Anshe Mishmar mutarim l'shtos yayin baleilos. The people belonging to the Mishmar may drink wine at night. A Kohen who is going to do service in the Beis Hamikdash may not drink wine. Once he drinks a revius of wine, he drinks a certain amount of wine, then he is not considered he's not considered fit to be doing the service. Therefore, no wine, no, he cannot drink wine before the service, and therefore but the Mishnah is saying like this: it belonged to the Mishmar, which means it wasn't your day. You're part of that group, that week's group, but it wasn't your day to be doing the service. You could drink at night, but not by day. The anshe Beis Av, but the people belong to the that day's group, that day who had to do the service, not by day, not by night. Now the people doing the service, we understand, right? They can't do the service if they drink wine, and those doing the service have to be ready to do the service by day. Bring the sacrifices by day, and then the following night they're still on call because they have to burn the parts of the animal that didn't get burned by day. You know, may have had a lot of sacrifices that day, not all the parts got burnt that day, or maybe they were kind of thrown into the fire and they kind of popped out, and they have to be taken care of by night. So they can't drink wine by day or by night because they have to be fit to be able to do the service. The people of the Mishmar, now they're not on call they're not doing the service that day, but they're on call, as we had in the previous Mishnah. If there's not enough people for that day's work, take care of everything that needs to be done, they call people from the Mishmar, right? So therefore the people from the Mishmar have to always be ready to do their service. So we say by day, they need to be ready. By night, there's not so much work to be done. So by night already, you can rely on the fact that the people from that day's group were able to cover the night shift, and therefore, by night, you can have some wine. All right. Anshe Mishmar. Now something else. Now we're going to talk about another group of people, and they were called the Mamad, the group that stood by. Let me read to you here from the introduction. Corresponding to 24 Mishmaris of Kohanim, 24 groups of Kohanim, were 24 groups of non-Kohanim called Ma'amados. And they translate that as stations. Each Mamad was assigned to one of the Mishmaris. You had a Mamad, meaning a group of non-Kohanim that was assigned to a group of Kohanim of that week. Every week, the Kohanim of the Mishmar would go to serve in the Beis HaMikdash. Many of the corresponding Mamad would go to the Beis HaMikdash to attend the service of the public offerings. They were there to be present at the public offerings. And this is explained that the Torah always says that if you bring a carbon, you're supposed to be there by the carbon. You bring a carbon, whatever it may be. You have a carbon to bring, a single person. You have a carbon to bring, you're supposed to be present at the carbon, at the offering. So what happens by the communal sacrifices? Sacrifices on behalf of the whole Jewish people. Where are they? Where they are, they should be there. They should be present at their offering. Well, the answer is they can't all be there, but they have their representatives. And that was the Mamad. The Mamad were a group of people that they went as representatives for the Jewish people to be at the communal sacrifices. And the people were divided up in 24. There were 24 Mamadas corresponding to 24 Mishmaris of the Kohanim. So now the Mishnah is going to discuss these an aspect about that both the members of the Mishmar and the members of the Ma'amad share. Anshe Mishmar va'anshe Ma'amad. The members of the Mishmar, meaning the members of the Kohanim of the week, and the members of the Ma'amad of that week. Surin melasaper melachabes. They may not cut their hair or launder their clothing that week. Ubachamishi, but on Thursday, mutarim nekveda Shabbos, then they can cut their hair or launder their clothing in honor of Shabbos. This is very similar to the idea of why we do not cut our hair on Chol Hamoed. Why don't we take haircuts on Chol Hamoed? Why don't we shave on Chol Hamoed? The answer is because Chazal wanted, the sages wanted, that you shouldn't push off and say, well, I won't shave before Yontif, I'll do it Chol Hamoed. No, they wanted you to go into Yontif, all taken care of. Mm-hmm. The same thing here. These people, whether they were the group of the Kohanim or the group of the non-Kohanim, they were going to be appearing in the Beis HaMikdash. You come to the Beis HaMikdash, you're supposed to be properly groomed, and your clothing should be clean. So therefore, they said that once you come to Yerushalayim to do your job, you can't take a haircut, you can't launder your clothing. That would make sure that they do it before they come. Now, at the same time, though, at the end of the week of Shabbos, for honor of Shabbos, you got to take care of yourself. So therefore, it says the Mishnah, on Thursday already, you can take a haircut and you can wash your clothing. Now, can you do that on Friday? You can do it on Friday too. Okay, then. You can do it on Friday also. But the point is that haircutting and laundering, it was common for them to do it already Thursday because it was a big job in those days. And therefore, the Mishnah says already from Thursday, the members of the Mishna and the Ma'amad could already cut their hair and wash their clothing. But it's not only Thursday. It could be Friday also. But you could already even do it Thursday because that was the time that people typically did these things in honor of Shabbos. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
So how was the